The views and opinions expressed on this show do not reflect that of the staff and management of WNOV and W293 CX 106.5 FM Courier Communications Milwaukee, but are the sole comments of the host and guest of this particular show.
The views and opinions expressed in this program do not reflect those of Wisconsin Voices. The views and opinions expressed by host and guests are their own, and their appearance on the show does not imply any endorsement or representation by Wisconsin Voices. Thank you for listening to Be a Voice with Wisconsin Voices.
Be a voice.
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 Visit WisconsinVoices.org.
Visit WisconsinVoices.org.
Visit WisconsinVoices.org
and learn more on how to be a voice with Wisconsin Voices.
They had these, what is these?
Tutti Frutti.
The Tutti Frutti, the fruity one for like the Twizzler or the Tootsie Roll, but they flavor.
Mm-hmm.
I'm smacking like it's a steak again.
The blue one's in the raspberry lemonade or whatever, pink lemonade back in the day.
You know what? Dude, I just
like
ate that one. Sorry.
Pink lemonade.
We do some snacking at Wisconsin Voices, don't we?
We do. But you know, we tired. Yesterday, I'm telling you, we did the show and we had our audit. You know, every nonprofit has to have an audit, and the auditors were in, and I was rolling all day long, handling fires for other things. And I left Wisconsin Voices at, I think, around 7:00. I walked up the stairs to my house, and I leaned over to lay down, and I woke up at 5 o'clock this morning. I slept through. I think at some point my husband must have put the blanket over me and took off my socks, because I know I took off my shoes, and that was it. I had laid down, fully clothed, everything. I was just exhausted.
At Wisconsin Voices, not only do we promote civic engagement and making sure that we interact with the community, but we do like to get proper sleep. So if you talk to us about sleep, we definitely do. I was speaking about some sleep I had last week when I was walking in on Friday. I talked about that deep sleep where I felt like I had to pull myself out of it. And then yesterday I slept 5 o'clock to 9:30 and got up and went to Chipotle because I didn't feel like cooking. You already know that was a wrap on that.
And so this is, I guess, what our point is. Self-care is hot out.
Yeah.
Make sure you drink lots of water.
Definitely.
And plus we had to rest up a little bit because our squad will be out at Juneteenth with our fire truck, with other partners, like our partners who are coming out with us. They come in March with Juneteenth. We're trying to be bold, and we want to make sure that people know who Wisconsin Voices is, and that we want to be someone that you trust within the community. I'm going to give you as much information as we have as possible, and then also doing some work with the smaller 501c3s. We're getting ready to do our final decisions on the grant process, so we'll be giving some grants out to organizations that put in the request for it. And remember, we already closed that, so don't be calling, can I get that money? We closed it back on October 12th. We might be doing something a little bit later, but this is all of stuff that we try to put back into our community. Remember, keep it in your brain that we have our cookout, which is in July, and we're going to be doing the catfish and the chicken and the pork. And sorry for those people but we do separate them, so you won't get that pork paste. Yeah, you don't have to worry about that. The sides, beans, vegetarian beans for people who don't like pork and beans. We doing it all.
Can I get a request?
Uh-oh.
And I think people out there might like it too. Anybody can make some spaghetti? I want some spaghetti.
Actually, spaghetti is with the fish this year.
Yes.
Or that's what we have.
That's
done.
asking
like
you,
a
shall
southern
Memphis.
But they have to know how to make this spaghetti.
That's the only thing. That's why I said, can we? Yeah, it has to be good spaghetti.
Okay, wait a minute, Jermaine has something to
somebody
say
else?
about the spaghetti.
I'm
I
not making
got
spaghetti.
a good question real quick that I have to ask, and I just want
Do you put sugar in your spaghetti?
Do you put sugar?
I knew it.
Mm-hmm.
in your spaghetti.
You don't need to. There's so many good pastas out there. Pasta sauces. If you don't make, I don't make a original from the scratch pasta sauce shit. I ain't about that life. But it's so many really good sauces out there now that you can find the one that you want. That got the right little sweet. If you want a little sweet flavor in your sauce, you can find that. It's so many different sauces.
But let's talk about the regular people who use the ragu or whatever it is.
Now, do you put sugar?
Nah.
Say no.
But I don't use.
There should be some natural sugars in it already, right?
It is. Plus, spaghetti is a carb, which breaks down in sugar anyway.
Yeah, but it don't taste like it going down. It might break down when it's in you.
Like, that's the age-old question. Do you put sugar in your spaghetti?
Sugar.
My mom did.
My mom did too.
And then the other age-old question, is it butter, sugar, or salt on your grits?
It depends on what
Sugar.
It depends on what you're eating with. To me, if I'm doing shrimp and grits, you ain't doing nothing but the sauce that the shrimp come in.
Right, I
whatever,
get that.
cheese
But
and
then
all that.
sometimes on regular grits, I have to have sugar and butter.
Sugar.
Yeah.
I did sugar butter. Yeah, I used to do the
butter.
sugar.
Some
butter,
people
pepper.
say butter and salt. I mean, I've had argument. I think there's one woman, and I saw her Facebook, shouts out to Courtney at Planned Parenthood. She was adamant about, you do not put sugar on grits. And I thought, and she had this whole post, this was about a half a year ago, but she had this whole post of people arguing. And I said, you don't really, but
People go
this
crazy
is
about that one.
all good community stuff, but let's get to the root, the crux, the meat of our show. I love having those little small conversations because it just
Big
bring
fun.
us closer.
Yeah.
And then we know who not to eat they cooking and who we should eat they
Right.
cooking from. So we are going to talk. Brian, why don't you start with your the stuff you wanted to talk
Yeah, I
about?
had a couple of things, and I know we all had some probably some interesting comments about that one. We can start off with we can tap into the Trump's comment and Mr. Chevy Cavalier or Mayor Cavalier Johnson responding to what he said.
And
really,
before you get into this is nonpartisan. We are just talking about a particular incident
Right.
that happened. Comments.
because I would talk about it if it was on the other end. If the
Right.
Democrats
Well,
said
yeah.
the same thing, I'll be on here
Anybody
saying,
says
like,
anything
what?
about the city.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
the issue. So
It's
go
just-
ahead.
Yeah, so Milwaukee Mayor hits Trump over the horrible city comment with the right back at you, buddy comment. So this is just yeah, so really he got in and defended us, and he fiercely defended his home turf after reports surfaced that former President Trump called it a horrible city, as y'all probably already heard by now, in a meeting with congressional Republicans last week, Thursday. Quote from Mayor Johnson states that if Donald Trump wants to talk about things that he thinks are horrible, all of us lived through his presidency. So right back at you, buddy. Johnson said when asked about Trump's alleged criticism of the city, which is hosting the Republican National Convention this summer, where Trump is set to clinch the 2024, of course, presidential nomination. Of course, he got some other things in that article, but that's like he said when he got interviewed by a national news syndicate. Like he said, that's not smart political strategy, which it isn't. Come on now, you come to somebody's home turf where convention is, that's your first comments or the comment that you want to say. I don't know if it's the brain is in a little gray matter in between there or something, but that's just not smart at all.
Especially in a state that is a swing state like Wisconsin,
Exactly.
where
That's
this
what I
is
was
something that a candidate's really, really going to need. They're really going to need to carry Wisconsin to carry to win the presidency.
And
it's
the biggest
astonishing.
one,
Yeah.
the biggest thing, and it's not political,
Mhm.
but you don't poop where you sleep.
Right.
If you come in here to try to get people, it's two things I want to say. If you're trying to get people to vote for you, if you're trying to say, I would woo them.
Right.
But the other issue that I have,
Mhm.
and I've been reading a lot of comments on TikTok, on Facebook, that I have, is the people that live in the city
And agreeing.
that's agreeing with
That's
them.
what I'm talking about.
You live here.
right.
If you don't like it, leave.
Please.
But there are a lot of people who love our city. Yes,
Yes.
we have issues. Every city you go to, I don't
Mhm.
know one
Yep.
single place
Nope.
that you go to that you will not
Thank you.
have this issue
Thank you.
or have some
type
kind of
weird
issue.
that's going on in the community.
But to
On levels.
keep
Yeah.
slinging your own city, the own state that you live
Mhm.
in, you chose to live here. And people say, no, I didn't choose to live. This is where I grew up. But you have every option. If you over 18,
bounce.
you could bounce.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I
You may not be able to bounce when you under 18 because your parents, you know, you got to stay with your parents, but you have every opportunity to bounce. I used to think that if I got out of Milwaukee, I was like, oh, Madison's going to be the place for me. This is where Madison wasn't my favorite place to live. I would never down it because it's part of Wisconsin. What did I do? I moved back.
All right.
I moved back to the city, and I was like, and then that's when I realized if you don't know, you don't know, but there is so much that Milwaukee has to offer. Yes, our winters are horrible. They cold sometimes. Yeah. But when it pops off in the summer, you got something to do. No one can say that they're bored, because if they really want you, they'll find a block party down the street. They'll find a festival, a church festival. Something is always going on. Nonprofits do work. There is community. They had the Father's Day celebration at Sherman Park. Yeah. If you're not a father, or your kids are not in your life, you could have went down there and celebrated with other people. It's just, there's so many different things. And I don't think we appreciate what our communities are actually doing to help uplift each other. So we clown about it, and that's true. We do. Yeah. But we do a lot of stuff to help each other too.
I like how you said that, because that's something I see even for people that I interact with on a regular basis. They'll say something to me like, yeah, man, I need to start tapping in with more things in the community. I need to come see what's going on here. And that's why my boy James, who came to our gala back in February, that was his thing. He said, man, I want to start connecting more. He did his thing. He started connecting with FMP. You got other people in the organization that want to come out of their shells and try different events. And like you said, if you don't know what's going on, if you like something, you can find it. If you want to go into more art stuff, it's more art events all the time. If you're a movie buff, they got you got the Black Film Festival, and outside of that, you got a Milwaukee Film Festival. So you have film festivals here. If you're a foodie, it's plenty of restaurants. Joe done found that out. Joe has still got plenty of places. I didn't say, man, you been here yet? Or
I mean, 6 months in, I love this city. Yeah. I feel a part of it already after 6 months. Yeah. And, like I've already talked on the show about Locust Street Festival and some of the other events that Jazz in the Park and some of the things that I've experienced. What a great community. It just has so much to offer.
But Joe, let me stop you, because we had to bring you on in because you work on 27th at Capitol, or it's 27th at Hope. We brought you into the city so you could see the joys of all of the city.
Right. Exactly.
He gets to see, all that. You get to see the tourist side where everybody's stuck on the east side, downtown, third ward dwellings. And then you get to see the folks in the working, north side areas, and of course a little bit of the south side when we do any events and stuff. But yeah, you get to see, the people that really are, funding and adding and making the city look beautiful from all areas. Because our people from the northwest side of Milwaukee are working all through the Milwaukee County and downtown areas, and
south side, east side, west side. We're all from here. Yeah. I keep saying, I lived in Glendale. I live in Glendale now, but I grew up on 21st and Atkinson. My daughter grew up on 45th in Capitol, right off between Capitol and Freesboro. These are places, we're everywhere. And these are good people. I just had a conversation with our new chief of Glendale Police Department. He's new. I don't know his last name, but I call him Chief Rhett. His name is Rhett. But he was saying, we were having a conversation about around 10% of crimes happen with 10% of, all the crimes happen with 10% of the population. It's not even the whole population. If you look at it, it's one person that might be with a group of people that starts in trouble. That one person go to another group. They're actually starting the stuff, and then it ends up with them. But if you look at it, it's only that one person out of 20 people he just interacted with this, trying to start all the mess.
And they get all the attention too.
Right. And everybody else get the attention except for that one person who's sliding in the background. I ain't doing nothing. I love my city. I love representing them. I love everything about. Yes, we have some issues, but you know how you can be mad at your sister or talk about your sister or your mama, but don't let nobody else talk about your sister, your mama, and your brother. You can't talk.
I'll defend. I had more people say positive things about Milwaukee when I'm on, trips and vacations. I done ran into people on the other side of the map, and they be like, man, I should stay home. Man, I'm from the view. Like they wanted to just keep me for the whole night when they was like, man, connecting with people from Milwaukee across the country. We everywhere. So
And always and forever, it's like you want to clean up your house.
Mm-hmm.
When you go home, you don't want a filthy house. You clean it up. You don't care what's going on around anybody else, but you gonna clean up your bedroom, your kitchen. And this is basically our house. This is where we live. Yeah. We do have a caller. Caller, go ahead. Caller.
Hi, I hear you talking about Milwaukee and wonderful things about Milwaukee. I'd like to add 2 things.
Yes, ma'am.
I love to be outside and I love our parks. Have you ever seen a cedar waxwing?
A what?
Cedar waxwing? What's that?
Cedar waxwing. It's a beautiful, colorful bird. If you Google it, you'd be surprised that bird is right here, not too far from the radio station.
And
also,
oh yeah, here we go.
Like, isn't that beautiful?
Yeah,
and
that's beautiful. Yeah, wow.
Fly in packs, and they feed each other. Yes, they feed each other.
So you a bird watcher?
Yes, they've come to my house. And also, I like to watch the home shows where they're buying and selling homes, and they talk about all these beautiful homes and this and that. And then they said something about crown molding. I said, what's so exciting about crown moldings? And I'll look up and what's on my ceiling.
Most of the
crown molding.
Most of the Milwaukee houses that were built in the 50s, 60s, they all have like original crown molding.
I love the crown.
Absolutely. Our houses are beautiful and they are in demand.
And that's what we just have to keep saying that. Yeah, yes. Somebody might.
And not too far.
Go ahead.
Not too far from the station, not Beach 17th at Atkinson. I'm not too far from the station.
Hey, neighbor, how y'all doing?
Okay, good. I'm going to hang up and listen to your wonderful program.
Thank you.
Bye.
But
Appreciate
that is definitely what we're talking about. We talk about a lot of stuff, but you know how you get mad. And this is the one thing that some of my friends get upset because they know my personal affiliation, but I got mad, and some people argue with me, but I got remember when George Bush got that shoe thrown at him?
That was so funny.
I never that is something, but that's politically, I was like, for me, it was like, okay, whatever. But I actually thought it was so disrespectful because that's my president. I may not agree with him or I disagree on whatever. But don't disrespect the United States. Yeah. That's how I was like, wait a minute.
It was disrespectful, but the way he does it and looked at him, it was funny.
But it was funny,
though. I laughed.
Catch Wisconsin Voices via Voice Radio every Monday, Tuesday, and Friday at 11 a.m. as we focus on community partnerships, voter education, and long-term collective impact for all Wisconsinites.
You're listening to Wisconsin Voices via Voice Radio. Follow us at BAWI Voice and learn more at wisconsinvoices.org. Wisconsin Voices 3 pillars: protecting democracy, teaching advocacy, building community.
The numbers to prove it. The tourism had a record year in 2023, contributing over $4 billion to the local economy, according to new data from the Wisconsin Department of Tourism. So Milwaukee County's total tourism economic impact, a figure based on visitor spending, employment, income, and tax impacts, grew to a $4.167 billion or 6.2% from 2022 and outpaced Wisconsin's 5.4% statewide growth.
So what we got to do is shouts out to that and then get some of that tourism back into the inner city.
That's all I was thinking about when I was saying.
So
about that.
That's great for downtown and some of the other areas of Milwaukee, but let's try to figure out what is an attraction that will get people coming here and moving further north or moving to the south side of Milwaukee, not just hitting downtown. It's hot. It's hot. I just asked Brian, or they were having a conversation, is any pools? And that brought up the topic of no lifeguards.
Yeah. lifeguard shortage with the new last article being stated last month about the lifeguard shortage.
And when I was on the school board, we used to have a huge problem with especially Black women passing gym because they did not do swimming. And I went down and asked the girls. I know why I didn't want to take swimming, but I didn't know that it's still generational and it's still almost the exact same reason. Because it takes Black women a long time to get that hair. I mean, even when you have natural hair, it either that chlorine dries out your hair or you have to take a lot of time just to do it. And they would rather take the hit than have to spend 2 hours every day. Like, even as I have creamy crack in my hair, I wear a relaxer. It still takes me half hour, something like that, to blow dry it. And since I do not know how to flat iron my hair, I got to go find somebody to flat iron it. And then I'm not letting water touch it for at least a week. Now, having to go into a swimming pool and have the same thing happen, a lot of girls are not willing to do that. And they would take the hit on gym class or taking a bad grade on gym class just so they don't have to do that swim. And the one thing I had suggested, why don't you do swimming when they have to do swimming? Can you do it at the end of the day? So they don't have to go around with their hair looking like a hot mess, even if they want to do it all day long. Yeah. It's like you go to swim and it's usually first hour, second hour, and then you have wet hair or you can't, and they only give you 10 minutes to get it back together. So you go around looking like a hot mess for the whole rest of the day for 2 weeks, because usually those swim class lasts 2-3 weeks unit. They're not taking it. They don't want to take it. So this is like, we have to find ways to, and I know it's gotten better with swimming in the Black community, but it's still a real thing. There are people who swim, but there's a lot of them who won't because of the things that happen with the hair. I know now they've come up with some of these, these swim caps that will not, they are so good, they won't get anything in there. And I know my daughter, I just have to say, this is a biracial child of mine. And when she was going into high school, she said, Mom, I had sent her to camp from, I think, 2nd grade on the way up, and she was going into the 9th grade. What should I do for a sport? And she was getting on my nerves because I was trying to read some. I said, won't you swim? No, good and well. I didn't think she knew how to swim. She's like, okay. I said, do you even know how to swim? And she actually she was on the swim team for 3 of the 4 years she was at high school. But as I looked, there was only 3 other Black women on the women's swim team across the state. You might find one every other team. Why is it? Swimming is the most healthiest exercise for you. It doesn't put pressure on your knees or your back or anything, so you can still get that cardio, but we don't do it. I just that's a public service announcement. Let's try to get some programs where we can teach kids how to swim, and then also giving them the Black little girls and boys the capability, and some of the more non-traditional or religious where they can't put on swimsuits. Where is that where they can feel comfortable doing swim class without having to disrespect their religion or what they believe in? There's got to be something, So maybe that's something we can work on.
Yeah. So I was looking at it when we was talking about the numbers. So Milwaukee Parks, they train their lifeguards and all that. So this is from May. So their numbers were sitting at 110. They need 250. While I said that the county is working on training new lifeguards and getting previous ones to come back, they're also shifting the focus to staffing the county's 2 aquatic centers in Greenfield and Lincoln Park, both which open in 2 weeks. So Lincoln Park is my neighborhood park growing up as a child. That's where I used to sneak off to when I wasn't supposed to cross busy streets. in single digits. So,
but how much? And I think they pay relatively decently.
Yeah.
To sit up there and monitor people. I'm finna go tell Jada.
You know, when I was
thinking about it myself.
When I was on city council back in Ohio, we ran into the same issue. We ran a city municipal pool, and it seemed like year after year, it became more difficult to find lifeguards and fill those positions. And a lot of times I don't think it was really money. It was just that usually that's high school kids, high school age kids, and their interest just isn't there anymore.
Yeah, we don't know how to swim.
And we see the same thing within high school athletics. You know, we see the participation rate dropping continuously. So,
well, I just got to say, I am a woman of my word. I have tried to learn how to swim 7 different times, almost drowned twice, but I'm still going to try again. We got a caller. Caller, go ahead. Speak your truth.
Good morning. Well, I don't necessarily know if it's my truth, but it is the truth as it's known. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And everybody, Mr. Rideout, Mr. Brian.
Hey, what's up?
Mr. Carvey, Debo in the background, everybody else.
You forget Joe every tattoo.
Joe, man, Joe,
hey,
Joe.
How we doing? How we doing?
Well, wonderful summer to everybody and a blessed early Juneteenth to everybody. You know what? I'll tell you, swimming is, and I learned pretty late, but I mean, it's a true workout. It is. You will get the exercise is unbeatable because you're using muscles that you don't even use when you're walking, or, you're using them in a different way. Plus you're learning how to breathe. That's the key to it right there, is knowing how to exhale and inhale at the right time. And then, that's where the life saving comes in there. But it's an excellent life saving phenomenon. I mean, you learn how to swim, you can save your life and maybe even somebody else's as well.
I'll totally agree with that.
Absolutely.
So those are the, you can get the hair back right, but there ain't nobody gonna grease your scalp when you're dead now.
Yeah, but it's a reality, because even though you say that, but and it is a reality that.
But yeah, we want our hair to look nice. I agree with you. I mean, I agree with you. But the thing is, you got to make sure that you got to make you're alive and that you're living, so somebody can see the hair. Because if you ain't living there, like I said, ain't nobody gonna grease your scalp when you're dead.
I see what you're coming from, because when it come down to
so
it,
be nappy, can't you when they put
fall in that pool, you fall in that pool, and your kid fall in that pool, and you got that fresh.
Yeah, but you ain't going by the pool if you don't know how to swim. How many people do not even go?
Your kid fall in it or something like
but
that.
they ain't go. You ain't letting them go either.
And when it's not like this, yeah, it's always good to take a little skinny dip, But yeah,
and on that note, thank you very much.
All right, so have a good one. Yeah, see you down there tomorrow. Be blessed.
Be blessed. Be blessed. Yeah, but I just think as far as it's important just to have that knowing how to swim. You go out somewhere, kids run off. You got a lot of grandparents and a lot of young grandparents here now. A lot of these young grandparents don't know how to swim. They go to these parks, they go to these neighborhood picnics and all that, and your kids run off. People don't be paying attention. People's social awareness skills are falling too. We talking about participation for high school students. People paying attention to their surroundings is off. So your kid run off, you got a fresh silk wrap, whatever type of hair you got going on, and you ain't gonna jump in that pool. You don't know how to swim. I mean, that's a lost body. There,
it's not even the pools.
People drown every year in Milwaukee. Yeah. It's like 4 drownings every year between Kenosha and Milwaukee. It's always 4 folks, and sometimes it could be stopped. If folks, 1, just paid attention to people around them, and 2, learning how to swim. Some people jump in, don't even know how to swim, and be trying to save lives.
Mm-hmm. Then we got another caller. Caller, speak your truth.
A little passionate.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
And they need to go back to teaching these kids how to swim at an early age like they did when I was growing up.
Yes,
I went to Franklin Boys Club. I used to walk from First and Monarchy to Franklin Boys Club on the east side, and I learned how to swim. I learned how to cut wood. I learned how to build stuff. It's ironic that nobody wants to do that anymore.
And I think they do. Some of these programs are not publicized. So they have them, but nobody, like the general population, you knew where to go if you wanted to do, I bet you any money your mom knew if she wanted you to go in a program, she knew to send you to Monarchy, right?
Send me to the boys club.
Right. And that's where most of these people, like, they want this stuff for their children, but it's either very limited space or it's not publicized where it goes. And then I run into that a lot where I'll be like, I didn't know this is a program. Oh, we've been doing it for years. How would we publicize it?
Well, they don't put pools in the boys' clubs no more.
Though it's a cost
issue.
It's a cost issue. It's a liability issue. It's just, but it's a liability of a life. So which one are you looking at? Are you looking at saving a life and giving you a skill to save your life? Or, once in a blue moon when there may be an accident that genuinely is an accident, the liability of it.
Some of these people,
some like Moody Pool, it's no longer there no more.
They don't want to pay for maintenance and things like that. I see that at apartments and hotels. And
that's what it comes down
like,
to.
Man, what's up with the pool?
But they all want to pay raise.
Or they want to raise your rent, or they will highlight that as an amenity when you get ready to buy the property or buy the condo or even rent. And then you move in, you have 2 months of access, and then for the next 10 months, it's under maintenance. A lot of hotels are like that as well, that they wait until the summer to do the maintenance of the pool, and then they close it in the winter because it's an outside pool. And then you'll see if you go back the next year, we're maintaining, it's the pool is under maintenance when it should be utilized, and then they close it because they can't fix anything in the summer, in the winter.
And it's scary to think that we don't want to teach these kids how to swim. I mean, because it also learn at an early age, you'll know it when you get older.
Well, I wonder if any of the Wisconsin Voices partners, we're going to look into that have any of those programs that teach that stuff. There's nonprofits all over that may be able to help us in this situation. This is what we're trying to promote. It's civic engagement. It is loving on our community. That was our theme last year. This year, it's amplify your voice and be a voice so we can try to find where these places are, what it is. I was just talking to one of my connections, and we're going to try to do a series on, we always hear about government saying that this is a program here and there's a program there, and could help. Well, I'm trying to get all the information so we can start talking about where to sign up for this program. You hear about student loan forgiveness. How do you get student loan forgiveness? Do we know where it is and how you can, how can you apply for it? Everybody talks about these, they're giving out small business loans. Where do you go to apply? Do you have to go to classes to get those? Do you have to go to, where do you go? So we're really trying to, and one of the things Joe has been working on is trying to find where those policy places are. Where do you go to get these information? Where do you go to get these resources? And really trying to engage our partners, which we will really start in July, having partner meetings again, where we can actually get that information out there, get it on our calendar. We have a small crew. I mean, literally it's, myself and Tim, then there's Nicole, Latoya, Brian, Joe, Keon, and that's it. That's our crew. Yeah. And I mean, so that's why we come in here tired, because we still working, but we want to make sure that we push all of this information out and getting more information out to the people.
Please join Wisconsin Voices every Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. We will be focusing on community partnerships, voter education, and long-term collective impact for all Wisconsinites.
You're listening to Wisconsin Voices Be a Voice Radio. Follow us at BAWI Voice and learn more at wisconsinvoices.org.
The 3 pillars of Wisconsin Voices are protecting democracy, teaching advocacy, and building community. Learn more about Wisconsin Voices and our partners at wisconsinvoices.org. Stay up to date on our community events page and get involved by visiting our donation page.
2024 Juneteenth Gospel Fest is at Hart Park on the 22nd. So that's Saturday, correct? Price, y'all, is free. And it's from noon to 6 p.m. And it's to preserve the legacy and culture of African American gospel music. I just went on the visitmilwaukee.org website. It's featuring local groups and choirs, spoken word, community resources, food vendors, product vendors, health screening. City leaders are being recognized more and more. Event is free. Again, it's Saturday, June 22nd from noon to 6. Hey, guess what?
What's up?
That's another reason why we should be out here. Y'all got to rest and do what you got to do and make things happen because if we can sing gospel, we shouldn't be violent. So we finna go there and it's no violence. We got another caller. Caller, go ahead.
Good morning, or early afternoon. Thank you for accepting my call. Assalamu alaikum to you all. I was just thinking about listening. I just started listening in the latter part of the show, and I apologize. But I want to correct me if I'm wrong. Weren't you all just not too long ago, if at all, speaking about our children or the children? No.
In regards to what?
Anything.
Swimming, swimming, aquatics, etc. Yeah.
Oh, okay, right. That's right. Gotcha. With swimming, right. All right. There you go. Thank you for bringing me back to the point. All right, the point, right. With regard to swimming, when I grew up as a youngster in Milwaukee, we were taught how to swim. I remember a place called Harvard Park, Washington Park, a place called Moody Pool, Pulaski on the south side. It's a high school, and as a requirement for graduation, you had to take swimming. In college, as a requirement, a prerequisite, as an athlete, you had to take swimming. So I know how to swim. And I think that our people, I don't know where the idea that we have an aversion to water or something like that, because we were brought up here on water in boats. But anyway,
I don't think
sum it all up.
Well, hold on. I don't think it's an aversion to water. It's first of all, opportunity or timing of it. I don't think we're not scared of water. It ain't that we're. It's just that, like I said earlier, a lot of the kids or the girls will miss swim class because of hair issues. And
right. I understand.
And the other part of it was opportunity. That's what it was.
I understand that part. And I think overall, with the lack of outside places outside of school, where there's more exposure, that there used to be places where people could learn how to swim outside of school. So I'm quite sure that Black people have no aversion to water whatsoever. I'm Black, and I use the water all the time. But if I'm going to all up, this is what I wanted to say in totality, is that for our children are a blessing, and they are A-R-E, our O-U-R, do-overs. They are the ones who get the ability to do over, and we should not let them be done over. We should be, mindful of the things that we expose them to. We should edify them and impart wisdom, understanding, and knowledge so that they are capable to navigate a society that is diametrically opposed to their very existence. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I mean, he does got a point. We gotta get some of this information out. Now, if we've heard people say, "Oh, there is all these resources," okay, I'm not arguing that there's not the polls there. It's not resources there. People just don't know about them. So I'm not arguing that. Please don't call me at Wisconsin Voices talking about, you said that they want resources. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is people don't know. And then they'll say, well, people do know. Well, some people do. But making it even more public is what we need to do.
Yeah, if you got a nonprofit out there that pushes anything regarding swimming or aquatic sessions for any of the young BIPOC people in the community or anybody in the community that we can tap into and give to resources, I'm all for kids learning how to swim. My first time jumping into the deep end was when it was called Schrader at the YMCA out in Brown Deer, and I shot straight into there. And the only reason why I had the confidence to jump into the deep end at that young age is because I used to play around in the pool, like trying to keep myself above water and then doing and learning like basic underwater swimming. And then I scared my auntie so much, she signed me up for a class right after that. And so that was October 96. I jumped into the deep end without knowing how to officially swim. And then by the end of that year, by the end of that year, beginning of next year, she had me and my closest first cousin Josh, was like my brother. One of my first close cousins was like my brother Josh. She had us at Custer High School at their NPS recreation swimming training program or swimming classes. So we did that, and we did that probably for like, I would say maybe a few weeks or a month. And over time, then the middle school I went to, they had a swimming pool, which is rare for middle school. So Glen Hills Middle School in Glendale has a swimming pool. We took swimming from 5th grade. We had a swimming course. Mr. Bruce was our swim teacher from 5th grade up into 8th grade. And we were learning different ways to stay alive. Like they started off light when we was in the 5th grade, having us, push our feet and all that. By 6th grade, we was diving
using
for
the
bricks.
kickboard.
Yeah, they used the kickboards. Then by 6th grade, they had us dive for bricks. 7th grade, for free time, it was a little aquatic session. He already knew half the class knew how to swim. And then even back then, we had the young ladies that didn't want to, go for multiple reasons at that time going to the pool. But we was diving for bricks by like 7th to 8th grade. He had us trained and taking our clothes, by putting on the adult clothes and hopping into a boat in the middle of the pool and doing like, tipping the boat over and then getting out the clothes with, wet clothes out of a boat. So we was doing scenarios by time, we leave out of school. So that was some of the things I experienced, which a lot of kids in the city haven't. But I would say it helped me a lot.
Well, before we close out the show, I just want to talk a little bit about voting tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Voting today, right?
Oh, starting today.
Starting
right.
today. Yeah, it started today. If you're in the 4th Senate District, which was former State Senator Lena Taylor or current Judge Lena Taylor's seat, you can start early voting today. Capitol Drive Voting Center is one of them that is on the southwest corner of 60th Street and West Capitol Drive. And the early voting will go through the 29th. So weekdays are 9 to 5 p.m. on weekdays, and on Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Villard Library and Good Hope Library, 1 to 7 p.m. Tuesdays, June 18th through the 25th, and Monday, June 24th. 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, June 19th through the 21st and 26th through the 28th, and 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Saturday, June 22nd and 29th. You can also vote at the Clinton Road Senior Center on MLK Drive, and that is 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. tomorrow during the Juneteenth celebration.
So let's talk about so that is one of the important aspects. This is something that is very, very important. You have, and I want to reiterate that you can vote at Juneteenth at the Clinton Rose from 10 to 3, I believe it is.
10 a.m. to 3 p.m. tomorrow. That's at 3045 North Dr. MLK Jr. Drive.
Yeah, so it's go right there, do your voting. If you are a part of the early voting, the special election, this will be great. This is an opportunity for a lot of people. If you are not registered, this is what you do. You put your driver's license in your purse. If your driver's license matches the address that you want to register, you are Gucci, gravy, what other word we can say? Valid. Okay. If you have moved and your driver's license doesn't match your ID, this is what I want you to do. Still take that in. But when you go in and try to vote, you're going to register and you need a proof of residency. The proof of residency is any government letter that you got sent, any bank statement with your address on it and your name. What else is there? Utility bill,
car registration.
I
think your insurance, car insurance.
Believe.
Not sure about that
I'm
one.
not sure. That isn't one of them. I thought that was one of them.
Yeah, I asked
if it had your name, address on it.
It was.
I'm not for sure, but we can find out. But
hunting licenses are legit.
Hunting license.
Oh, any licenses that was issued by this entity,
concealed carry,
right? So these are all these ways that you can use, and you can use to register. So, like I said, if you do not have a unexpired driver's license or an ID that has, if you do have that, and you have your address on there, you can use that, because that is also a photo ID and it is a proof of residency. If you do not have a driver's license that has your correct address on, you bring that, because that's your proof of who you are. But then you bring something else, your lease. What else? Your lease, your mortgage papers, anything like that that has your valid address on it, and then register to vote. These are the people who need to register. People who have moved, changed their name. What else? You haven't voted in, was it 3 years?
Shoot, seemed like some people were cut off.
And some people are even purged before that. So please, just when you might think you're registered, unless you vote in every single election, like I vote in every single election, usually my registration is going to be okay.
Yeah. Don't forget either, because if you may be thinking it's only been 2 years since I checked some people we had on the 4th floor that was getting some services through W2 or Maximus, and they both were off the list. They said the last time they had one she was definitely off the list. The other one hadn't voted in like 3-4 years, and she was off the list as well. So you may think you're on there because you voted for something in one of those years like 2020 or whatever the case may be, or you might have thought you voted in 2020, you voted 2018, and you've been purged off the list. So please,
and the people that you're voting for, 4th CD, the 4th Senate district, you have 2 choices. There is State Representative Dora Drake or State Representative Lakeisha Myers. This is how this is important. Whoever wins this primary, they're going to be that person to represent you for the rest of this year. This is key, because this is a special election vote. So this is the only thing that's going to be, and this is the person that's going to represent you for the rest of this term, which goes until January. Then you're going to have to vote again for these same 2 people in August to do the 4-year term as your senator, because I think they're the only 2 that are on the ballot as well. But remember, this is your representation. You have to do your research. Don't just wait for people to say, oh, this is who you're going to vote for. Look at their websites. See what they're actually doing. Don't just look at the piece of paper and say, oh, I got this. That's who I'm going to vote for. Actually do your research. Everybody sends out I know there's some mailers out there. There's some, commercials out there. You got to go in there and see what they actually did, how they're doing. How did they represent? Because both of these are representatives of assembly. What did they do? If they were your representatives, do you remember seeing them? Do you remember them doing work? You can definitely give a voice. Part of this is they're not the representative, because this is Darren Madison's district. This is Lakeisha Myers' district, and this is Dora Drake's district. So 2/3, at least 1/3 of them have been, for each woman, has represented you. You got to do your research and go and make sure what Who did you hear from, and who is the best representation of you?
The views and opinions expressed on this show do not reflect that of the staff and management of WNOV and W293 CX 106.5 FM Courier Communications Milwaukee, but are the sole comments of the host and guest of this particular show.
The views and opinions expressed in this program do not reflect those of Wisconsin Voices. They are those of the host and guests of this particular show, and their appearance on the program does not imply any endorsements or representation by Wisconsin Voices. Thank you for listening to Be a Voice with Wisconsin Voices.
Be a voice.
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 Visit WisconsinVoices.org.
Visit WisconsinVoices.org.
Visit WisconsinVoices.org
And learn more on how to be a voice with Wisconsin Voices.